Big unit, the big heavy-duty sled, Russ Leguee out of Weyburn. Leguee Farms, a 6.7-liter Cummins. Okay, Lindsay, sorry, we're not running this Russ Leguee first.
No, this is one of our stock trucks. This is a truck that they pulled in just before we started our show, and it's an absolutely stock Dodge. Got some weight transfer on it. Not sure of his name, but he's here to put on a show with a stock truck.
Lindsay's position. Taking it in half, yes. That was a pretty good run for the old Dodge. 305 feet 7 inches was the distance for that stock truck. And you guys, when we get in these diesels, have a look at the rear suspension. You see some arms that go back to the rear differential. What happens with leaf springs is they get all that traction, it wraps that differential up, can shear off U-joints. So they run a bar under there that stabilizes that differential. So the more power, torque that goes through those back wheels, the more it forces forward up underneath the cap, and the more weight it applies to the rear differential.
We're going to get that big off-road eliminator sled back into position, and we're going to call upon Yorkton, New Holland to come out and do some repairs to our track, because that big old Dodge cut some holes in there.
And big thanks to those guys, Dallas, for all that equipment we're going to see coming out here right away.
That's right, because if they didn't bring it, it was you and me with a shovel, and holy crap, that ain't going to happen.
That could take a while, yes.
Yeah.
Forgot about him, but he came up first this time around. Then Mr. Leguee is going to come up once they level the track here. So they got to get rid of the ruts. The sled will position itself in different places on the track so that the ruts are not the same for each person. They just move it back and forth.
And it's up to each driver, right? The driver can pick where they want to put the sled. So they got a little orange pylon down there, and they can move the sled wherever they think it's needed. So
kind of the way it works. So this big sled has obviously a ton more weight to it. And again, the sled operator can operate that sled, move that weight box up accordingly. So the higher the class, the more pull they got, the quicker that weight box moves up, and the quicker he applies the grouser bar.
And it helps to be friends with the driver of the sled, right? Right? Yeah. It's always good. Hey, you guys are Facebookers. Everybody out there's got Facebook nowadays. Couple of links that I want you to check out. One is the Yorkton Exhibition Facebook page. If you want to know what's going on in this city, it's happening here at the Yorkton Exhibition. Like them on Facebook, follow along, you get to see what events are going on here. And if you like truck and tractor pull, go on to Western Canada Truck and Tractor Pulling. It's kind of a long word, but it is a great Facebook page. They've got cameras here tonight. They're going to be uploading some of the pulls tonight that we've got here. So Western Canada Truck and Tractor Pulling. And Trevor and Brian are here tonight. Here we go with our Weyburn bowler.
Russ Leguee, he's the one I talked about first time. Now have a look at this truck. Before he moves, he had a big gap in the back end of the wheels. Now the front wheel, pretty much the same gap.
That is the best run I've ever seen that truck pull. I've watched that truck pull 5 or 6 times. That is absolutely the best run.
No doubt. Now, if you look at that thing before he goes away, look at the gap between the back end of the tire versus the front. You see all that weight on the front that's hanging out over the nose. The best hook you can get is to have exactly the same weight on all 4 tires as they're going down the track. And the chain angle on that big sled pulls the back end down. That weight counterbalances that on the front. That is a perfect hook when you get exactly what Mr. Leguee did there. All 4 wheels had exactly the same amount of weight and perfect hook. The other thing they have problems with is wheel hop. If those wheels start hopping, that means they are done, because if they don't shut her down, crown and pinion, drive shafts, transfer case, all those goodies occur. So we got 319.85 was the distance for Mr. Leguee. That's the benchmark.
That's awesome. And if you want your Dodge truck to run that good, you got to head over to one of our big sponsors there, and that is Olson Diesel. And they have the capability of tuning up your diesel truck to make it pull like that too. So make sure you stop by those guys over at Olson Diesel. Once again, thanks to the New Holland guys. They're out there leveling the track out because Lord knows you don't want to wait for me and Wayne to do it with shovels.
No doubt.
And of course, I have to thank Yorkton Distributors, another one of our big sponsors, and big tall Art Blouse. Well, actually Art's not that tall. I actually feel tall beside Art. He got to ride in that Big Red Express, and you can too if you get your 50-50 tickets. Chance to win there.
From Gibbons, Brian McSween, all aluminum blocked 6.7 liter Dodge Cummins diesel as well. You might ask, why all the Dodges? That's what's in this class tonight, is Dodge, Dodge, Dodge. Several reasons for that. Ford and Chevy both use V8s, and all the Dodges are inline six-cylinders. The inline six-cylinder has a lot more smoother torque curve. In other words, it comes on a lower RPM, and the torque stays the same all the way through because it's an inline engine. The V8s, when they get boost, when that big old turbo starts throwing air in there, those things are like the nitrous oxide. The switch comes on, and they're a lot harder to control. So a lot of guys can make big power out of the Chevys and Fords, but that inline six seems to be the best thing here in Canada for what they do. These guys run way bigger turbos, way bigger injectors. In order to get power out of these diesels, the first thing you got to do is stuff more air and fuel in. When you do that, you're going to make more horsepower and torque. You also have to have the powertrain to match. So the transmission, the transfer case, the drive shafts, and the axles have to be first rate. So it's not all about just getting horsepower. You hear that diesel spooling up, turbo spinning, giving them boost, and here we go. Wow, you got the wow. Yes. Now we saw the first truck, Menzies, turn 314 feet. Then we saw Mr. Leguee go 319. Check this out, 340.42.
That's your leader in the truck class right now, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. That almost makes me want to go out and buy a Dodge, hey? Maybe I have to go over to Yorkton Hyundai and see if they got any used Dodge trucks over there. Certified used vehicles, old Ron and his staff. They can look after you here. We've got another antique little case tugging along that we've seen a little bit earlier.
Case DC4, Matthew Just. This time around, the sled operators got more wool put in that sled because they stay further down the track this time.
And you know what? We were talking about the track earlier, and I got to thank Ray Belos and Delwyn from Lever Trucking for making that track so awesome. It's holding the horsepower because they just laid a lot of horsepower to it.
We're not getting distances this time around. Our unit there isn't working for him. So the last two, we have not got a distance out of the antique. Yes, out of the mini sled. So we saw what those two big modified Dodges could do. We got another one coming at us here. Derrick Menzies out of Oxbow, a 5.9 in the 2004. Now you see that big weight box in the front, and he's chosen dual wheels. That can make a difference. The other thing that makes a huge difference is the type of tire. What is the tread? On these units, as we go through the evening, you're going to see a lot of difference in the tread design. The bigger the lugs, the more they grab, but the more dirt they throw in front of the sled, which makes the sled even heavier to pull. In this class here, it's about getting all that horsepower and torque to the ground. Obviously, these guys are buzzing these 5.9 Cummins a ton more than they do stock. You see that big stack sticking out of the hood? That's the turbocharger. The exhaust drives that turbo. It's like blowing on a fan. That fan blade spins, it spins a compressor. When you compress that intake charge, it creates major heat. So they have to have a huge intercooler in there to cool that temperature back down so those motors don't detonate to death. Once that's done, they add a ton more fuel. You see them spool up. That is meaning he's spinning that turbo. The turbo's starting to build boost. As it builds boost, they add more fuel. When you see all that smoke hit the air, that means the computer has put a ton more fuel into it, and away they go. So he's spooling it right now, causing that turbo to spin. He's watching his boost gauge. Now the fuel's coming in. Here we go! There's a brand new leader. Woo! Huge. 27 miles an hour he got down in the middle of the track down there.
That's that good Yorkton clay right there, hooking the horsepower. Another place that you could take your Dodge to get horsepower like that, and I know they do computer tuning right here in Yorkton, is Dave's Diesel. Dave's Diesel just out on the number 10 highway. They can get you horsepower like that, and they're another one of our big sponsors. And I gotta say hello to all of our VIPs sitting over on the other side of town. Best seats in the house, and you have your own beer gardens too.
Yeah. All right, just to recap the unlimited diesel class, we saw Lindsay Tradition do a 305.8. He was a black truck right off the bat. Russ Leguee, Silver Dodge, a 319.8. Then Brian McSween came along, cranked out 340.42. Derrick Menzies showed up, showed all the boys with a 344.4.
So that's your winner. Derrick's your winner, ladies and gentlemen, the big Dooley. Big round of applause for him. So that is your diesel four-wheel drive truck class. Now we're going to get into